right? Let's get straight to the point. When there's something wrong with the game as far as responsiveness, lag, delay, whatever you want to call it, you can see it. But even if you forget about this game and just consider it like a picture in the background while I'm speaking, you all experience these things too in game, right? And if for some reason it's only me and you guys all have perfect experiences, perfect gameplay, no lag, delay, or responsiveness issues with shooting, passing, moving, the whole nine, then let me know in the comments section, right? Because that means something too. Even though I see all the social media posts, I see everything in the stream, even talking to opponents, right? Where I absolutely can't move against them. They say, yeah, some games, I'm moving great. I can tell my opponent can't move. In other games, I can't move. And everybody talks about these issues. Now, they've been here for the past several years, and without a doubt, it has improved from previous years. But the problem is this. There are still situations where you get into a game and all of a sudden you can't move, you can't pass, you can't do anything, right? As opposed to the games where, yeah, the connection's not the best. Maybe there's higher ping, or really sometimes you have what looks like good ping and then there's an issue, right? So it's not all about ping. But I don't know the answers to this. I don't know the technical words to say to make this make sense, which is one of the reasons I'm making this video, to get this out there. Yes, I'm a super small channel, but if we're all having these problems still, it needs to be spread so EA Sports can address it. Now, if it was just something we have to deal with, so be it. But here's my biggest question that makes me believe there's some kind of outer forces, for lack of a better term, aka cheaters. So you see in this game right here, you see during certain cutscenes, there's glitchiness, right? There's lag, delay, whatever. For sake of just saying one word each time, I'll call it delay. You can see that. When the game goes through and the cutscenes are perfectly fine, there's no delay, well then, great, you're in good shape. When you start seeing delay in those cutscenes, you know you're in for a bit of a rocky experience. But then there's different levels. There's that imperfect feeling to the game, but you can still play through it, especially compared to previous years, right? Especially compared to FC25 alone. Forget about any other year. So without a doubt, EA Sports made some changes, some improvements. However, you can absolutely correlate the worst connection games where you just literally can't do anything. A 2-year-old could beat you. You can connect those with the rattiest, most low-skill players. Now, how can you tell? Well, let's look at tacklebacks, or trying to get tacklebacks, which have been vastly reduced. Players don't just pass the ball and then immediately as they pass try to run into the defender. That's not how it works. You're passing and moving, you're trying to keep the ball. You're not, no actual player is going to try to make an immediate pass like they know it's going to be bad and run straight at the opponent because they are trying to anticipate, oh, they're going to be delayed so I can get the ball back, right? Because there is no bounce offs like there was last year. They're very minimal. And so the only thing that could possibly happen is they make a bad pass, the opponent gets the ball, but they're so delayed they can't play a pass before the defender, who's now the defender, was just the attacker who made the bad pass, before they get to them and get the ball back, right? That is not a normal reaction. I mean, when I pass the ball here, I'm looking to pass to my teammates, and then if I make a bad pass, it's not on purpose. Now, if I just start passing straight ahead of me when there's no teammate in sight and then immediately try to start running at my opponent, you guys are going to be able to see it, right? Not to mention, whenever there's a situation that is around the box and there's defenders all around, there's nowhere to really go, and these players literally dribble into the defenders as if they're cones, meaning they know they're not going to get tackled. Because once again, when there's really bad delay, you press the tackle button, it doesn't go off in time. So either you're going to foul the attacker or you're just going to get rammed by. And what do you know? This only occurs in those terrible games as far as responsiveness goes, as far as delay goes, right? And it only occurs with these certain low-level, low-skill players. I mean, I could go on and on. How about the corner kicks or just regular crosses? There will be situations where clearly a cross was not on, but the opponent does it anyway. Why? Well, because they know if you're delayed, you can't jump up, and so they're going to get an uncontested header. You see that kind of thing all the time, right? Even on corners, just routine corners that are easily won by the bigger, stronger center back. They just randomly throw them in there quickly, so you can't make any adjustments, hoping that they win the head ball without any contest in the air, because once again they know their opponent's delayed. So the question isn't if these players are utilizing the responsiveness issues that occur. The question is, are they willingly making it worse? Which can be done any of several ways, such as utilizing a hotspot, purposely using internet that's not very good to bog down the game. Again, I don't know the technical terms. Purposely running other programs to bog down the game, because they are 100% utilizing the situation to their advantage, right? Instead of playing football, willingly trying to just play the game without using nonsense that doesn't involve any skill at all, right? Because it's a choice to make a pass and run straight at the defender knowing you can win it back because they're delayed. It's a choice to run into defenders and not try to pass and dribble and actually play football to get around them. These things are all choices, right? That's the same thing with the players that are spamming skill moves knowing that they can't be tackled. Instead of using a skill move to throw a defender off and beat them, they're using skill moves to essentially glitch through in a scenario that they otherwise would be tackled. That's the difference between a skilled player that uses skill moves and a complete rat that is trying to take shortcuts because they can't break down a defense, right? It's the same thing with these scenarios here. And so when I'm reaching out to these players to find these things out, it is a dead giveaway sometimes with how they react. And when you ask, well, why even reach out? You know, a troll's a troll. Well, they're not always trolls. Sometimes they can speak logically, and the more info that's put out there, the more people that are aware of this, the more chance it has to get back to EA Sports so they can address the issue at its root, right? Because they no doubt addressed the responsiveness issues and they made improvements. But they did not at all address the situation from the angle of any players that are causing responsiveness issues, or at least causing them to be much worse, and utilizing these issues to make up for a lack of skill. Now, the biggest thing is how pointless that would be, right? I use several analogies because sometimes that works for unintelligent people. But one of the analogies I use is Monopoly. If a bunch of people are playing Monopoly, it's just for fun, right? It's just a game, as many people say, despite spending thousands of hours and spending money and time and effort on this. Just like if you're playing just a random family game night, a game of Monopoly, and one of the family members playing stuffs a bunch of extra Monopoly money in their pocket. So you play 3, 4, 6 hours, and at the end you find out that that person cheated. And so you realize that it was just a waste of your time, to the point where you're not just like, oh, good move, that was funny. You're going to say, why didn't you just tell us so we could have saved the time of even playing? Or why didn't you just tell us so we could have kicked you out? Because that was pointless. Now the game means nothing. You won, but you cheated. And you playing in the way that you did just ruined everything else, right? Because you had a bunch of extra Monopoly money. You cheated, right? So these players are getting results they otherwise wouldn't have got. These players, I don't care if they were number one in the world winning like this, it proves nothing. They're not really winning, right? And so it's crazy that there's actually people out there that would waste their time like this. I could never imagine, right? Again, it's a choice. If I had bad connection, which I do, and when I do, I don't all of a sudden try to create tacklebacks over and over and over by kicking the ball right at the opponent and then running into them, hoping I get it before they can do anything because they're delayed, right? I don't run other programs to try to mess up the connection on purpose to throw off my opponent. I don't purposely go for crosses when I see my opponent can't jump. I still play the game because otherwise it's pointless. I still compete to win at the game of football, not compete to win at the game of who can mess up the game the most, right? Or who can take advantage of an unresponsive game. I mean, it makes no sense, but these people are out there, and only EA Sports can get rid of them by doing what they did with the other nonsense that was plaguing the games. I mean, they did a great job with so many things, such as the tacklebacks, right? The glitch shooting from 35 yards with the Trivellas, the L1 speed boost, and obviously along with those glitch shots was green time shooting, which could be a good thing, but it started to be exploitative, so EA Sports got rid of it. And so either they know about this and they're choosing to do nothing because they don't want to chase any players away, so they say, oh, they can deal with these rats, but we spread it enough and show that we are angry enough to where they don't want to lose us, as opposed to just letting the rats do what they do since they still pay. And so they're forced to do something about it. Or if they don't know that there's not only responsiveness issues, but there's players that try to make these issues worse and try to take advantage of them instead of playing the game, well, now they will know. The more we spread it, the more likely they will be forced to recognize this as an issue and respond to it the same exact way we did with FC25 after years of being ignored, and we finally got a game going in the right direction. And when I say this, I truly mean it. This game is so close to being a masterpiece, but being able to exploit skill moves and being able to exploit responsiveness issues, server issues, whatever the underlying thing is, I don't know exactly, but being able to exploit these two things are what keeps this game from truly being great. So here's to spreading the word so that EA Sports has to address these two issues: the skill move exploitation and the responsiveness or server issue exploitation, right? The number one thing to know is these players are choosing to ruin this football game by trying to find things to make up for their lack of skill instead of trying to just play football and continue to get better. We all have to deal with a lack of good gameplay at times, but not all of us choose to utilize these issues instead of trying to play the beautiful game. It's as simple as that. You let me know if you agree. You let me know if you experience these things and how often. I know FC26 is brand new, but in the games that you have played, what's the percentage of times you play these just total unresponsive messes of games where you literally can't do anything? And you have an opponent that is no doubt making the situation worse, whether they're causing worse responsiveness or they're just trying to take advantage of it to make up for their lack of ability to play football. And of course, if this video was helpful or you enjoyed it, please smash the like button and please subscribe to the channel. Not to mention, if you want to support the channel, there's so many different ways. Go to the link in the YouTube bio, a Discord for help on everything you could think of in FC26 and beyond, YouTube memberships. There's also merch, premium quality, the same materials that the top designers use for a fraction of the cost, and an awesome logo added. So check those out, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.